That was awesome. And I think one of the things that stood out for me from that last conversation was just a shift from a very transactional thinking about an employee to like the real sort of step back perspective on people as people you hire and work with you and you build them up, and at some point they may work for another company. But just the perspective that on employees is part of this from to that we've been thinking about. So one of the things that we're really excited about today is that we saw a gap in the research around employer brand. And when we were planning this event, we thought we can actually do something here. We can do a new research report. And we did a survey of 800 plus workers. We worked with a AI-based research platform called Panaplay. And we're able to actually interrogate the data and connect it to some metrics from Glassdoor, financial performance, so revenue growth, stock market performance of companies, and actually looked for correlations between the strength of an employer brand as indicated by these workers that we surveyed who are either current employees, former employees, or prospective employees of a set of companies that we worked with. And the results are actually pretty clear. There is a correlation. This first report, which we'll be sure that you can download and you'll all get a link to, shows a pretty correlation. We view it as a foundational sort of starting point for the research that we want to continue building on. And in the playbook, you can see some case studies, how Cisco is approaching employer brand. They're in the middle of an employer brand refresh, and some other things. So I'm going to hand it off to Jeremy to talk about what the research found.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know about you, but I've been listening to the conversation this morning. So right now what I want to do is like quit my CEO job and apply for those companies. But I will stay, just at least for this introduction.
Okay.
This research was super important because again, I think most of us think like employer brand is a must-have. But in fact, most of the time, every day, we have to prove to people that this is the case. And I'm sure you saw that already. Classic disclaimer for financial products.
Yeah.
And our feeling is past performance could be a good indicator, but it's not the perfect one. And we had this feeling with the charter team that, maybe employer branding is indicative of future results. And this is what, in fact, we are seeing in the results. It has a strong correlation with business performance. If you just look at what people think about this, does employer brand impact professional and customer choices? Everybody agree and strongly agree that this is the case. But of course, and we will talk about this a bit later, it's about employee well-being. But it's also the fact that people will impact their consumer choices based on the fact that they think this company is a great company for its employees or not. Just on this, like 2 numbers that I've found super interesting. Like almost 4 people out of 10 will recommend a company just based on this topic of employer brand. And this is super important because you know that when someone is recommending a company, this has much more value than just like a random recommendation somewhere. And interestingly enough, even if we focus a lot of employee well-being, 6% will avoid purchasing your product if they think that you're not providing a great employee experience. And 6% can look like it's super small, but you know that it's super huge. So this is super important. And maybe to conclude on this, like before like going on the next panel, if you agree on that, and tomorrow you want to bring like the employer brand topic on your corporate agenda, those are the topics you want to put on the agenda. Those are the topics that, based on our research, we found that they are the topics that impact the most employer brand at your company. The first one is leadership communication. We talked about this a bit before in this morning. It's super important. It's about transparency. It's about the quality of the communication that you do. Culture of innovation. If people think that they are in an innovative company, it has a huge impact on employer brand. D&I, of course, even if this topic is a bit challenged this year, is still a super important topic for everyone. Employer well-being, we talk about it, and career growth, especially at a moment where people thought that their career growth was super clear, super linear, everything was tailored for them. And now, all of a sudden, people are saying, all right, you need to upskill, you need to do something else. AI is coming for your job. So career growth is something expected, but something super complicated. Again, if you want to talk about employer branding next, like Monday morning at your leadership meeting, probably those are the 5 topics that you want to put on the table.